All right, so now we're gonna cover the outside parry. So just like the inside parry, an outside parry is a parry for a straight thrust where we're just trying to get it slightly offline, which, surprise, that's what parry means. Okay, so he's gonna throw a straight thrust nice and slow to my center. I'm going to hit on the outside. I'm going to do this Wittek motion, luwak, whatever you wanna call it, kind of like an abanico. I'm hitting sideways. I'm moving my hand from one side to the other. Now, the reason I would do this over a inside parry really depends on where I was at whenever he threw this. If my hand was open up towards the same side, inside parry. If my hand had just crossed, maybe I just threw a one and now my hand's on the other side of my body, the cross side, he throws a straight thrust, then it's an outside parry. So this is based off of where I am whenever he initiates his attack. Okay, so at this point, I'm already here. My weapon's on this side, he initiates his attack, and I'm going to hit to the outside. I'm gonna do a small side step when I do this. Here, here. Now, depending on your confidence level with your ability to block this, depends on where you're going to move. If I'm uncomfortable, unconfident, or maybe I read his thrust a little bit late, I might do a step and slide back to the left. If I'm pretty comfortable with it, I could step in and start being able to close the distance, right? Assuming this is stick fighting and not sword fighting. You have to always remember the difference. If it's stick fighting, I'm probably gonna close the distance because staying at this distance, getting whacked is not very fun. If it's sword fighting, I'm staying on range and I'm gonna take his hand off, right? That's gonna be my ultimate goal. So I'm here, he thrusts, I'm here. Also notice how my weapon doesn't go way offline. So if you're here, actually I want you on this side right now. So if he throws this thrust, I don't wanna go way out here, not even pointing towards him. It's gonna be a little bit past his body, but not very much. It should be enough that if I wanted to throw an angle 3 arcing thrust, I could easily just drive that in. If I'm way out here, it's a lot bigger of a motion, and if I decide to drive that in, he just raises up and he's gonna be able to track that, right? A lot of times once you make this contact, people are able to track it, especially if I hit towards the end of his stick, right? His hand will usually go that way, so if I come up, he's able to kind of read that motion, so be aware of that as well. But if I'm here, it'll be easy to drive over and through. Notice he still went for that block. It's gonna be easier when I'm closer to the hand, as opposed to when I'm closer to the stick, he has more time to be able to monitor and press it off to the side. I also have other options for attacks. We'll cover the attacks later, but the key point here is move slightly off to the side. If you feel more comfortable, you can close the distance, assuming it's a stick. If you're less comfortable, you can move out, but I still want to be able to be in range number 2, right? So remember, range number 2 is I can hit his hand. Can't hit his body in range 2, but I can hit his hand. So if I want to block and this is a sword, boom, I can take the hand. I'm not far out of the range. I don't want to be here where, notice, I can't even take his hand. Maybe if I get back in, but then I'm having to do excessive motions. So be aware of that. But on this, we're just stepping to the side, hitting it, but not overdoing it. I never want my tip to be pointed behind me off of the parry. It should be mostly angled towards them. If I have my blade edge, again, mostly angled towards them so that I'm able to counter back quickly.